All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So if there's any computer that can gain my respect, it is this lovely Pixelbook Go from Google that came out 3 years ago. Yes, I've had this device for 3 years, folks, and I gotta tell you, it still works like brand new. This was a computer that I was so excited about when I finally got my hands on it, and the hype really never wore off. It is now running the latest ChromeOS, and it is a lot better than it has been in the previous generations. There's a lot to it now. So I'm excited to bring you a 3-year review, folks. 3 years with the Pixelbook Go. Let's get it. I think one of the best things about this laptop is being able to unlock it with your smartphone. All you have to do is just unlock your phone and then it's unlocked. So I got my phone next to it, it's unlocked, and boom, we're in. So this Chromebook, first of all, Chromebooks kind of took over the school system. They just took over because, for one, they're extremely affordable. But this Chromebook right here is probably one of the more premium Chromebooks, if you want to use a terminology to describe it. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of configurations of this laptop. You can get one with a 4K display, which is the one I really wanted. But that's okay. I appreciate Google sending this to me 3 years ago and creating the Team Pixelbook. Team Pixelbook. When are you guys in Team Pixelbook? Yeah. Really nice, affordable laptop. It was priced a little high at the time for a Chromebook, some people thought. But to me, it stood the test of time, and it just goes to show that having different layers in a laptop proved to be a good thing. This laptop starts at $650, folks, and it's still for sale right now. It starts at $650. You get this 13.3-inch LCD display, 16:9 aspect ratio, which is really nice, obviously, for movies, 1080p display, or a 4K display if you were able to get one of those. It used to come in 2 colors. There was like a beige looking, pink looking color, I think it was, and then they had the black color. Now it does have the 8th gen Core i5 in here, and believe it or not, for a Chromebook, folks, that is powerful. This is a powerful book right here. So people even used it for editing at some point. I tried editing on it, and I was like, it just wasn't my thing. Now it is touchscreen, as you can see here, very nice. I love laptops that are touchscreens that have phenomenal battery. Those are very few and far between. But this one has great battery. So what you're looking at is actually, let me clear out these notifications here. What you're looking at is actually ChromeOS 104. Now, there's been so many iterations of ChromeOS on this Chromebook, but this latest one added some of the best features, man. You got a little pop-up calendar right now, and you've got a notification letting me know my phone is locked in. And one of the most important things is you no longer can swipe up. This entire bar used to swipe up. You have an app tray now. It's over here. I thought that was super cool that they finally integrated that. You got all your Google Assistants and everything. It's just easier to get to. I actually did not enjoy swiping up on this because I would always forget. So it was pretty impressive that they were able to finally catch on and say, you know what, let's add an app tray to ChromeOS. I mean, it's something as simple as this. You would think it would have been there a long time ago, considering Android, but the operating system itself has grown and matured so much, folks. It is incredible. It is definitely a buttery smooth. It's always been smooth because, again, ChromeOS operating system it was basically Chrome browser at the beginning. That's something that I'm glad they moved from. Okay. I'm glad they moved from because you had this thing at the beginning, the redundancy of having an app plus a web browser, a web app. And they would be here on the device. And it was so frustrating because you didn't know which one you clicked on. Everybody remembers those days. Now they've dumbed this down to they've got an app tray, and they just simplified it pretty much. This is the way it should have been to begin with. But I will say this latest version of ChromeOS, if you don't have a Chromebook, man, this latest OS 104 is absolutely great. You know what I mean? People are excited about the calendar down here. That's a great thing right there. That's a great thing to have this full calendar right here. If you wonder what it looked like prior to this, you just had to go into the calendar. And the fact now that they've added an app tray, it just makes sense. Like, you start to think, for all of us who have been using the Pixelbook or just any Chromebook, you often wonder, like, why didn't they do this before? Well, they've done it, and now this operating system is extremely polished, really polished. Now, let's talk about physically the product here. It has dual front firing speakers, and they fire up and towards you. I think that is just great. And let me test them for you. Okay, so I got some music set for you, and I got the speakers turned all the way up. I'll show you some music, and then I'll also show you a video. The sound coming from this laptop is just crazy. I'm gonna scan forward so you can get some more of the music on there. This thing brings so much rich tones. It's incredible to know that these two sections right here of speakers firing towards you is incredible. Now I got a video loaded up as well, so we can look at the screen resolution. I'm just going to tilt a little bit here. To another video. It's probably been a minute, but I wanted to go ahead and give you an update on the vehicle. So the truck is doing great. I'm at about 2,000 miles right now. So up to this point, you've seen everything that I've done to the truck as far as the interior, and things like that. But this is kind of just an update on my experience with owning a diesel vehicle. This is my first diesel vehicle, and there has been some things that I noticed that are a little bit different than owning a regular gas vehicle. But 2,000 miles in, no major. This is a huge plus, because this laptop, this 13-inch laptop display, it just, you can't, it's one of those things you have to see it in person. Like, as I show it to you like this, you know, you think, oh my God, that's beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful. And it's even better in person. Now, another area where this laptop really shined was the front camera. Their front camera, actually, the laptop's camera here is 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now, when you consider that, think about some of the other laptops I own, where it has a 1080p display, or it's just now getting a 1080p display. I don't want to get into it, but I can tell you the camera on here is really nice. It is really, I don't know why this thing keeps sending me this request. It is really nice. And I'm glad that this combination came out when it did, because now the people who actually held on to it, and again, even if Google wasn't going to send me this, I was going to purchase it. And I'm just being transparent there, because remember, I got the Pixel Slate, and everybody said that was bad, but the Pixel Slate was actually phenomenal. You know, that thing still works. I gave it to my youngest daughter, and she's had it for the last 2 years, I believe, or year and a half, or something like that, and it is still flowing right along. It works. The touch, the digitizer, the pen, everything works. So these products will last you if you take care of them. She even used it for school, for college, for a little bit too. Even though I got her a laptop for college, she still used the Pixel Slate more, it appears. So I was pretty impressed with that. So I'm excited to know to know that this computer can last. ChromeOS, if you pair it with the right hardware, you pretty much have a MacBook competitor. Now, some might argue, okay, Jay, it definitely isn't as powerful as a MacBook. You're absolutely right. But when the MacBooks had the Intel processors, this was competition. It really was. So I remember I made a video saying I preferred this over my MacBook at the time. And obviously it wasn't the M1 MacBook, because I just felt like this thing flowed so smooth. And it was even on the older generation of the software. So, you know, I just feel like giving something a chance is what we need to do. I have faithfully, Jay, how was you using this computer? Some of you might ask, how do you use it now? Well, this was my bedside computer, meaning it lived next to my side of the bed. And if I needed to get on the internet for anything, this was my go-to. And that's where it's been up until 2022, where I'm now gradually moving towards the Surface Laptop Go 2 as a primary. I'm still kind of feeling that out because this ChromeOS, if I'm being honest, this operating system runs really smooth. And so it's going to take a lot to get me to really get away from this as a primary OS for the bedside laptop. Jay, who has a bedside laptop? I do. Ballin', it's going to be those haters out there. But I do have lots of laptops that I've purchased and that have been sent to me. But I got to tell you, just 3 years in, man, I mean, there's nothing bad for me to report. The hardware is still phenomenal. The keyboard traveling feedback is just really, it's still holding up so nicely. And, the battery is still going strong. This thing can last on battery for 4 or 5 days, even longer, a week. Because remember, I don't use it 24 hours a day. I use it in the evening time when I'm getting ready to wind down for bed, and I'll end up staying on it for about 2 to 3 hours in a day. So the battery life chugs along with no problems whatsoever. So even to this day, I can recommend the Pixelbook Go, especially now that it has the updated operating system 104. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing flows along so smooth. And it's difficult for me to give a 3 or 4 year follow-up on some things, or just sometimes even doing a year follow-up, because I can't really explain to you how good it is. I'm just telling you that it's still working and I'm not having any problems. And that's ultimately what I have to do. Because some people are just going to buy this. They're going to buy it like now, and they're wondering, oh, should I buy it? It's an old laptop. I still will recommend this laptop. I love the hardware. I love this hardware. I think this hardware is, and trust me, folks, this laptop has been dropped so many times. It's been dropped. I have a sleeve for it, but I stopped carrying it in the sleeve because I was like, I don't really want to keep taking it in and out. It's just gonna be sitting by the bed. So yeah. Now I talked about at the beginning, there's 4 versions of this you could possibly buy, but only 3 of them are available now. So the Core i7 version is not available anymore. And that was the 4K display, 256 gigs of storage, 16 gigs of RAM. It was the one. There's a 16 gig of RAM version of this for $9.99 with 120 gigs of storage, and it's a Core i5. Now, I personally would have liked to seen a Core i5 16 gigs of RAM 256 version for $9.99. I think that would have been fair. But everything below the Core i7 is, you've got the Core i5, which is what I have right here, for $850 with 8 gigs of RAM. And 120 gigs of storage, and then you have the one right up under that, the Core M3 with 8 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. Now, the good thing is you get at least 8 gigs of RAM even on the base model, so that's not really a thing. So you'll have the RAM there, but the Core M3 version, I remember Will H Tech Reviews, he had it back in the day, and he was I think he had this version back in the day. I think he bought this back in the day, and I told him, I said, man, you got to move up to the Core i5 at least, and you'll see a huge difference in performance. And yeah, I think he moved. I don't remember if he actually moved up or not, but I know he doesn't have one right now. But this laptop still, man, if a person is going to get this right now, I know it's stiff competition. I know, and let me be honest here. Let's talk about a con. The most major con is just going to be the price. And the fact that it doesn't have any ports. It has just this one Type-C over here and a headphone jack, and then a Type-C over here. So that is a con, not so much for everybody, because you think about MacBooks, which is one of the top selling computers out there, and only computers that have ports nowadays, a lot of ports, are Windows computers. So if you're thinking about getting this and you're comparing it with a Windows computer, well, obviously you can pay a lot less and get a Windows computer. You can get a Windows computer with more ports, more RAM, more storage for half the price, and then you can install Chrome browser. So I'm not going to try to sell you that this is the best computer out there. I'm saying for those of the people that got it, that bit the bullet and got it, I think they've gotten their money's worth now, because Windows computers don't last as long as other computers, and they don't run as smooth over years. Like Windows computers, from experience, most of the Windows computers I had back in the day, at the 2 or 3 year mark, they just didn't run the same. They were sluggish. Windows wasn't holding up. Now Windows 11 obviously is doing some justice, but ChromeOS runs smoother than Windows 11 from what I can tell. In day-to-day tasks, it's just really smooth. And I just can't, in my eyes, I think that's a selling point. But I honestly can't justify the price of this next to a Windows computer. Like as far as the tech specs that you're getting, this costs the same as an M1 MacBook Air. And I wouldn't recommend that you get this over a MacBook Air. Not for $999, no way. I just couldn't do it. I will be lying to you by telling you, oh, it's a great purchase over a MacBook Air. But back in the day, when the MacBooks had the Intel processors, I definitely would say, yeah, this is a great deal, because the Intel processors, while they were fast and everything, I think it was a more leveled playing field, which is why Google brought this one out with 2 ports, 2 Type-Cs, and a headphone jack, and made this beautiful hardware, and then priced it high like that. I mean, because that was the thing that got everybody like, why are they trying to price this so high? They were pricing it based on what other things were in the market at the time, I believe, 3 years ago. And I think about it, 3 years ago. I feel like current day, this isn't the smartest purchase at all. If you didn't buy it back then, yeah, I don't know that I could run out and tell you to buy it now. But there's going to be some people out there who only want a Chromebook. And even now, there's probably Chromebooks out there that offer more storage, a better processor, so to speak. But something about this Chromebook right here, I think it's one of the better looking Chromebooks in my humble opinion. It feels good. The battery is phenomenal. The speakers are great. The camera's good. The screen is beautiful. But I am a realist, and I know that you could probably spend $1,000 and get a heck of a lot better computer overall as far as tech specs go. But will you get the same support? Will you get the same software update? This thing gets a software update, like, man, it has gotten so many updates, and it makes it better and better and better every time. So, should you buy it current day 2022? Probably not. But if you can get this thing if you can get one of these computers at half off, folks, buy it. 75% to 50% off, or excuse me, 25 to 50% off, I would recommend it. Like if you could get this version right here for $650 or $700, I'd say go for it, because the experience overall is going to be phenomenal for you. I think you're going to love it. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed 3 years with this bad boy. Can you freaking believe it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a win.